Okay, here we go. Could you, Ryan, is that on your side or it's on the inmate side?
It's on his side, Your Honor.
Mr.
The
Allen,
bailiffs.
Mr. Allen.
Yes, sir.
The bailiffs that, the quieting down, tell them I said the quieting down, we can't hear in here. They're making too much noise.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the dismissal was on 32889.
They say the judge asked him to hold down up there. He said,
Thank you.
you welcome.
We're in session in 5 cases. The first case is cause number 327058. The second case is cause number 327538. Third case is cause number 327542. Fourth case is cause number 328890. And the fifth case is cause number 328898. All 5 cases are styled the state of Texas versus Terry Allen. Mr. Allen, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Allen, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Allen, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Allen?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Allen, in clause number 327058, the information alleges that on or about February 29th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of resisting arrest, search, or transportation. Mr. Allen, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to this charge, Mr. Allen, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Mr. Allen, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty. Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Allen, I have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishment. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on the next document, which is titled the Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked on this document. The first box states that that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Allen, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled the Discovery Certification?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Allen, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I have just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit Number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Matuska, do you have any objections?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, no objections. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Matuska, you have advised and counseled Mr. Allen. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Allen, your attorney, Mr. Matuska, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Allen, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement, Mr. Boyd?
It's gonna be 4 days jail, credit for time served, 4 days, and court cost to be taxed and retired.
I'm looking at it in cause number 327058. Is that the offer in that case?
I apologize, Your Honor. That was wrong. With 120 days jail, and he's got 120 days credit, so court cost, tax, and retired.
Okay. Mr. Allen, the state is offering that you serve 120 days in the Jefferson County Jail, but you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 120 days in Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $327, but you will not have to pay the court cost because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Mr. Allen, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Allen, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Allen will be moving on to another case, and the other case is cause number 328898. And in this case, Mr. Allen, the information alleges that on or about June 14 of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Allen, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to this charge, Mr. Allen, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
Guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Mr. Allen, I have before me a document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendants, the misdemeanor plea admonishments. And on page 2 of Mr. Allen, there's a set of initials on the line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, the Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, there's a signature at the bottom of this document above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that's checked on this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case. You have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Second box states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And did you sign a document on paper in this case that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Allen, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I have just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Correct, sir.
Okay. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
It's gonna be 4 days county jail, credit for time served 4 days, court costs to be taxed and retired.
Okay, Mr. Allen, the state is offering that you serve 4 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you've already served 4 days. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $442, but you will not have to pay the $442 court cost because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Mr. Allen, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Allen, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. We'll move on to your next case, Mr. Allen, which is cause number 327538. And the information in this case alleges that on or about March 27 of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense or violation of a protective order. Mr. Allen, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Allen, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
Guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Allen, I have before me a document that's titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials on a line that's checked next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
The next page of this document is a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification Defendant's Right of Appeal, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And there are 2 boxes that are checked in this document. The first box checked state that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Second box check states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal in this case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Allen, prior to signing and initiating these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
Did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me states exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer states 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Matuska?
No, sir, Your Honor.
No objection, states exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Matuska, you're advising counsel, Mr. Allen, in this case as well. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir, Your Honor.
And Mr. Allen, your attorney, Mr. Matuska, is advising counsel to you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Mr.
Yes,
Allen,
yes, sir.
and has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Allen, I'll accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargaining agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
It's 4 days county jail, and he's got credit for 4 days county jail, so time served, will be taxed and retired.
Okay, Mr. Allen, the state is offering that you serve 4 days in the Jefferson County. However, you will not have to serve any more time in jail in this case because you've already spent 4 days in Jefferson County jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $292, but you would not have to pay the $292 court cost because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Mr. Allen, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you think that the state's offer in this case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Allen, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state, Mr. Allen. We'll be moving on to now. Now, let me see. Now, state in this in cause number 327. Hold on. Now, state in cause number 327538, are you dismissing cause number 328890? That's
correct, Your Honor.
And this case will also be running concurrent with cause number 327058 and cause number 327542 and cause number 328898.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Allen, just a correction on your judgment. The state will also be dismissing cause number 328890 and the state will be running concurrent the cases in cause number 327058, cause number 327542, and cause number 328898. And now, Mr. Allen, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you think that the state's offer in this case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
Do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Allen, I will go back to the driving while intoxicated case and state, in this case, which is cause number 328898, you dismissing cause number 328890 and cause numbers 327058 and cause number 327538 and cause number 327542, all will be running concurrent. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Allen, do you understand that they'll be dismissing in the driving while intoxicated case, they'll be dismissing cause number 328890 and then cause numbers 327058, cause number 327538, and cause number 327542, all will be running concurrent. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and okay, now, Mr. Allen will be moving on to cause number 327542. In this case, the state alleges the information alleges that on or about May 6th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of violation of protective order. Mr. Allen, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to this charge, Mr. Allen, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, and no contest?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Allen, I have before me a document that is titled the Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. And in this document, Mr. Allen, there are a set of initials on page 2 of this document next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
On page 3 of this document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on the next document, just titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature? Mr. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Allen, there are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box check states that this is a plea bargain case. You have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Allen, did you sign a document out there that is titled the Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Allen, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I have just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Matuska?
No, sir, Your Honor.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Matuska, you advising counsel, Mr. Allen, in this case, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Allen, your attorney, Mr. Matuska, has advised and counseled you. In this case, are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Allen, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
4 days county jail. Yes, 4 days credit for time served. Court cost to be taxed and retired.
Is this in cause number 327542?
I apologize. I thought we were 538. I'm trying to. It'd be 120 days. I'm sorry, 120 days county jail and credit for time served and court cost taxed and retired.
Okay, now, Mr. Allen, the state is offering that you serve 120 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because the time you spent in jail has already satisfied your sentence. Therefore, you will be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $327, but you will not have to pay the court cost in this case because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Allen, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And not charged with, but Mr. Allen, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Allen, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Allen, I have to admonish you in accordance with the Texas Administrative Code, Section 76.1. Now, the court hereby admonish you or warns you of the following. Number one, you are by entry of order or judgment ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Number two, beginning now, if you possess a firearm or ammunition, it could lead to charges against you. If you have any questions about how long you will be ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, you should consult an attorney. Number three, under Texas Penal Code Section 46.013, a firearm means any device made or adapted to expel a projectile through a barrel by using the energy generated by an explosion or burning substance, or any device readily convertible to that use. B, firearm does not include a firearm that may have as an integral part a folding knife blade or other characteristics of weapons made illegal by Penal Code Chapter 46, and that is one, an antique curio firearm manufactured before 1899, or two, a replica of an antique or curio firearm manufactured before 1899, but only if the replica does not use rimfire or centerfire ammunition. The statutes listed below are a starting point for ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. For more information about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or for more information on how long your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition lasts, the court recommends you contact an attorney. Code of Criminal Procedure Article 17.292, Magistrate's Orders for Emergency Protection. Code of Criminal Procedure Article 42.0131, Notice for persons convicted of misdemeanors involving family violence. Penal Code Section 46.02, Unlawful carrying weapons. Penal Code Section 46.04, Unlawful possession of firearm. Penal Code Section 25.07, violation on certain court orders or conditions of bond in a family violence, child abuse or neglect, sexual assault or abuse, indecent assault, stalking, or trafficking case. Family Code Section 85.026, warning on protective orders. Now, Mr. Allen, you were given a copy of this admonishment. You can keep it for your records. This, Mr. Boyd, we have one more case that is left, which is cause number 328890, and it's styled the state of Texas versus Terry Allen. It's a possession of a controlled substance. What is the state going to do with that case?
Your Honor, that's the one we had dismissed. I've signed the dismissal on it.
Okay, now, Mr. Allen, that case is being dismissed, and I'll be signing the dismissal in a few seconds. Now, Mr. Allen, this will conclude your case. You can follow the bailiff, and you have a blessed day.
All right. Y'all do the same.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Matu.
Okay, Mr. Matuska, what's your client's name?
Sure, it's a William Hensley.
Okay. Okay, we're in session in clause number 330086. The case is filed with State of Texas versus William Scott Hensley. Mr. Hensley, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Hensley, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Hensley, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Hensley?
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Hensley, I have before me an information in cause number 3274, cause number 327542. And this information alleges that, okay, it's cause number 330086. This information alleges, Mr. Hensley, that on or about April 13 of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance. Mr. Hensley, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Hensley, how did you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir, I am.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
I am.
Okay, Mr. Hensley, I have before me another document that is titled the trial court, well, that's titled the misdemeanor plea admonishment. Now, Mr. Hensley, I have to make an adjustment on this here document. The box that's checked has checked as a Class A misdemeanor, but it's a Class B misdemeanor. So with your permission, can I make that correction?
You can, sir.
And Mr. Matuska, can I make that correction?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Hensley, this is a Class B misdemeanor, and the range of punishment for all Class B misdemeanor, well, for a Class B misdemeanor is confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 180 days and a fine not to exceed $2,000 or both such fine and confinement. Do you understand the range of punishment in your case?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, on page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials, WSH, on a line next to a box that says check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
I did.
And there's a signature on page 3 of the same document. Did you sign this document?
I also did.
And on the next document, which is titled the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Did you sign this document?
I did.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have the right of appeal. Do you understand that?
I do.
And the second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, Mr. Hensley, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Matuska, go over these documents with you?
He did.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
They are.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Matucci, you have any objections?
No, sir, Your Honor.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Matucci, you've advised and counsel Mr. Hensley. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Hensley, your attorney, Mr. Matuska, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
I am, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
He has.
Mr. Hensley, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
120 days county jail. He has credit for 120 days county jail. Court costs to be taxed and retired.
Okay, Mr. Hensley, the state is offering that you serve 120 days in Jefferson County Jail, but you would not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 120 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $327, but you will not have to pay the $327, Mr. Hensley, because because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Hensley, do you understand the state's offer?
I do, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
It is.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Hensley, I will follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Hensley, you can follow, this will conclude your case. You can follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day.
You also. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I believe that's all I had. May I be excused?
Yes, yes, you may.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Boyd.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Miranda. Come talk to the attorney. No. You're not. I don't wanna have to move you, girl. No.
Joshua
Come
Kennedy.
show your face and let that judge tell you you're going home or where you going. No. 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 Let's go. Who on that table you gonna fit? Well, let's go to the dorm. Get your ass up and go to the dorm.
We have,
Whatever.
we have,
Wait, I'm going this way first. Let me go to the judge.
Mr. McIntosh.
Hello, Judge, I haven't even speak to the Lord. Hello, Terrence.
Mr. McIntosh.
Judge, excuse me, I haven't touched, I don't have an attorney. I haven't even had my rights read and, been just zoomed out of bed, taken to a person saying that he's my attorney and in a confused state of situation.
Okay, Mr. McIntosh, is this your client?
No, Judge.
Antoinette Killer, none of these are, I'm not represented by any of these men. I haven't talked to any of these lawyers. I have not had a situation where my rights have been read, where I have a case presented to me. I'm telling you, this is not my lawyer. I don't never have met him. He was just appointed to me. No, I haven't had the right to go to a court-appointed lawyer, to the court library, to even make a phone call. I was picked up at Wood City. These are not my lawyers. These are not my lawyers. I don't even know what's going on.
Okay, ma'am, what's your name?
Miranda Antoinette Kellogg.
Ms. Kellogg?
This is not my lawyer. This is not my lawyer. I don't know any of these men.
Last time.
I don't even have a situation in case. I was sitting at McDonald's.
Okay, Ms. Kellogg.
I was at McDonald's doing nothing but sitting there.
Ms. Kellogg, let me.
Thrown in by face, thrown in by cops. Thrown in by cops. I was no trespassing. If anything more, they just throw in and they're making.
Ms. Kellogg, let me ask you something. Now, the last time that we were here, you stated that you was going to hire an attorney. Is that correct?
I never said I was gonna hire an attorney. I said a court-appointed attorney? No, I never had a case presented. This is a false court. I never had my rights read. I haven't even sent, I haven't.
Okay, Ms.
Not
Kellogg.
saying they're a false judge, but I'm apologizing. I'm not saying no disrespect. But I'm saying I haven't even had a phone call. I haven't even had myself any rights read. Before I got arrested, I didn't even have my Miranda rights. If anything, I was no trespass at McDonald's and I had no shoes on and the community didn't want me sitting there at McDonald's with no shoes on. If anything, I should have been told to move, to leave.
Kellogg, let me.
I represent myself in the court of law. I represent myself.
Okay, now.
I represent myself.
Okay, Ms.
I was
Kellogg.
not Mirandized and it was a no trespassing warrant on Twin City Groves.
Okay,
Vernon Groves McDonald's. I represent myself.
Okay, Ms. Kellogg, let me mention something. Now, as a defendant in a criminal case, you have three options. Number one, you may hire an attorney. Number two, if you do not have enough money to hire an attorney,
I don't even know what my felonies are. I don't have any felonies. I don't have any misdemeanors. I don't know why I'm here. I already had time served. I already been told time served. And I don't know why y'all are coming at me with this false stuff. Stop playing with me. I'm not supposed to be here for anything but to know that I have been free for all my problems.
okay, now, Ms. Kellogg, your third option is if you do not want to hire an attorney, and if you do not want to apply for a court-appointed attorney, you may represent yourself. Now, if you want an attorney to
I don't
represent,
even know what's going on with my situation. I don't even have my rights. I've been neglected through this community, through this JCCF. They're back there getting high. They're back there with men. They're sexually harassing me. They got men living in the dorm. I'm thrown in red. I don't know what's going on with the situation. I haven't had a phone call. They won't let me use a phone to call somebody. They don't tell me. They don't even let me have a toothbrush or a toilet paper. So how can I be in the court of law when I've been neglected? This is inhumane. This is uncivil.
okay,
Uncivilized.
okay, Ms. Kellogg.
Miss Kellogg or Marina Antoinette Kellogg, I don't care about the way you're talking. I just been ripped into a situation. I don't even know what's going on either side. I should know all my things, what I'm supposed to read. I need to know everything about my case, and I need all my paperwork presented to me, and I know what to do before I be moving forward. And I know now I'm okay. There's my paperwork. I'm gonna be silent. That's all I have to say today.
Okay, now, if you want an attorney to represent you and have enough money to hire an attorney, the case will be reset to give you time to do so.
No, I don't care about the case being reset. No ifs, ands, and buts. I didn't do anything wrong. I was sitting at Groves, sitting there with no shoes on, and the society didn't like that. I was sitting there just with no shoes on. I wasn't doing anything wrong. My case is presented. Go investigate and to the real Senate. Take it to the upper Senate. Keep me in here, but y'all ain't gonna keep me hostage behind your stupid society. Not me liking your Jesus and me talking and not saying pretty pleases and being a little disrespectful shit. I'm a 35-year-old grown-ass woman, and I don't have to sit here and fucking be disrespected by a judge or any of the lawyers that went to a bunch of education, because I have a very smart background, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I am being rude because I have been neglected by your community, by my thoughts, by the way I think and the way I act, and we all are ordinary people. You can't judge me for me choosing to be homeless, sitting in front of McDonald's, Twin City, looking through other people's trash and living my life the best way I live. I didn't do any wrong, and I should not be sitting here in this court of law. Miranda Antoinette Kellogg said it in an assertive manner, in a way that it has to be taken to an intimidating stance where y'all think that y'all can fucking talk shit about me 24/7 and see that I'm all about it, how I dance. So the way I think is the way I feel, and if you don't like it, just chill, take it to go get a pill.
Okay, now, Ms. Kellogg.
Talk to somebody else who gives a fuck, because I don't give a fuck.
No, Ms.
What are you
Kellogg.
gonna do when I ain't doing nothing wrong? I ain't committed no felonies, and I ain't done nothing but singing melodies. And just sitting here on your fucking judge in a fucking bullshit ass JCC in jail through Terrence Holmes. I'm the Holmes judge. How many years did you go to the fucking school to realize that I'm Miranda Antoinette Kellogg? I've been sober. I ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm having people fucking try to throw shit on my name too many times and fucking overanalyze and talk this and talk that and don't give a fuck about me. So suck my left upper lip.
Okay,
Guess that's over.
okay.
Before, let me clean this.